Imagine you are a solo creator of a Roblox game. You pour your time and soul into it, trying to make it a great experience for players. Suddenly, the game goes viral, it has a lot of concurrent players. What would you do? Probably double or even triple down on the game, to not only save the current peak of players, but also gain new ones. However, it looks like not every person would want to do this. They would rather sit down and watch as their viral game dies in their eyes, while they sit and do absolutely nothing. Today, you will witness a real-life example of such a situation. A game that could get it all, but its only creator and developer decided to let it rot. I present to you the tragic tale of Beastman Simulator. It was late autumn, or fall if you're American. Beastman Simulator did not have much going on. The last update was Beastmas 2024, so there wasn't anything going on for almost a year. However, against all odds, the game started gaining some serious traction in November. The true reason is unknown, however it may be because of Grow a Garden out of all things. You see, this game used to be one of the most popular Roblox games. They included Onett in one of their updates. This may have acted as indirect advertisement of BSS, and when the game started dying off, Grow a Garden players switched to Beastman. But that's just a theory. Some might argue that it got so many players due to anticipation of Beastmas, but looking at previous instances of the same date, we can clearly see it did not achieve the same heights. Anyway, the player count kept increasing on a daily basis and reached over 100,000 right before Beastmas release. Then Beastmas was released December 25th, causing player count to skyrocket even further, and then reached the absolute peak of 264,505 concurrent player count, the largest in game's history. This Beastmas actually did not add much when comparing to others, it only added petals, which was basically a smaller version of mushrooms, which gave boosts instead of items. Collecting them was also required for quests. Other Beastmases added a lot more, like new beasts, mechanics, etc. But still, the game was doing the best in its history. Some people even were calling Onett a genius and thought that the method of not releasing anything for ages was the reason this game went viral somehow. However, it was not meant to last. It was only a downfall from here. As the event ran, big problems started to rise. One of the first problems was stingers. They are used by red and white hives, which are two of the three late game progression pathways during boosts, aka farming a lot of honey by using lots of materials. The best method of obtaining stingers is by farming them from wild vicious bees using a macro. Basically, the macro server hops on small servers and checks for vicious bee, kills it if it's present, and then goes on to the next server. This was basically required for red and white hives, and stingers were crucial in boosts, and without them, your honey making is doomed to fail. However, due to how many players the game has obtained, a lot of new players were using macros for stingers along with old ones. Some were even using multiple accounts to macro stingers at once. What happened was vicious bees were being killed way too fast on way too many servers simultaneously, which caused the vicious bee deficit. Red and white hives were reporting significant stinger income drop, which was especially awful during Beastmas, as Beastmas is by far the best time to boost, but due to lack of stingers, players could not even do it in large enough amounts. What did Onett do? Nothing. Literally nothing. But it gets worse. Trading economy also started suffering greatly, as some people were using out accounts to quickly speedrun getting a star egg from Mother Bear that was then donated to the sticker printer in order to obtain a star sign, which is the main trending currency in the game. There were even bot farms to farm a lot of them in a short period of time. This has led to a massive star sign inflation. Every sticker is priced with star signs, such as the B-Cup skin, the most valued non-equipped tradable in the game, that was originally given for Beastmas 2019. It used to cost 100 signs, but quickly jumped to over 300 during Beastmas, and then proceeded to increase to over 500. Other stickers and rare tradables were also impacted. They are on a recovery right now, but that's mostly because the game is dead and thus no one really farms signs anymore. Onett did try to address this by limiting who can use a sticker printer, but that didn't seem to save the day. Then we have the Beastmas quest that overall were quite annoying, with the Oddwire being Stickbugs quest that for seemingly no reason was around 5 times harder than the previous quest in Beastmas 2024. A likely reason was the fact that the newly added offline voucher, a highly wanted item that lets you progress offline, was locked for free-to-play players behind Stickbox quest, as you had to complete all but one Beastmas quest excluding B-Beer to get it. Unless you pay, of course. The only other Beastmas quest you could choose was Gummy Bears, which was very difficult. The idea, in my opinion, was to make the Stickbox quest this hard on purpose, to bully people into buying the offline voucher for Roblox, but that's just a theory. Exploiters were also on the rise, and were terrorizing the servers, stealing items and vicious beats from players. All of this combined made BSS a progressively bad experience for most players. So how did Onett react to the game's hype being in danger? He did not. Time passed, people started to quit, and the game's player count was steadily dropping. The promised part 2 of Beastmas, that promised to bring BBM's quest, the hardest quest in the game, that is the goal of many pros to complete, as well as the last 5 B-Beers quest that should reward a brand new cup body skin. The update was delayed multiple times, but was released. Unfortunately, it was flawed for 2 reasons. For once, it was too late. The game's hype was in the coffin, and many players already gave up and left Beastmas. And then we have BBM's quest, which was not released. After many months, Onett could not make a single quest. Yikes. This was the last straw to many top players who left as well. Beastmas was delayed again, but the Onett pulled the plug and Beastmas ended. He released BBM's apology item to players that completed all Beastmas quests, as usually to claim BBM's quest, you had to complete all event quests beforehand first. Anyway, the game was officially dead. Onett did nothing to save the hype, despite in the past doing some amazing updates solo, which by the way, makes his a solo dev excuse irrelevant. All we had is some small admin abuse that was really random and was not enough to keep the hype going. People went from calling Onett a genius to a terrible developer. He could have reacted to the game way more, but he chose to let it die. Issues brought above were not properly addressed, and the small content promised was not added. In conclusion, the game died because of Onett not doing anything. The game's success was given on a silver platter, yet it was wasted by its creator. I know I repeated this a million times now, but he did nothing. That was the reason the game failed to keep its hype. Other games instantly log in when the game goes viral, even with small development studios, but here Onett chose to log off. That was a tragic tale of Beastmas Simulator.